I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. Today we're here with Bretonnia, going to be taking on the Foul Beastmen, so let's go ahead and jump to the army compositions. My force is going to be led by a Prophetess, Lore of Life. Not a very common pick, but against the Beastmen, I figured, it'd be nice to have my Lord be the my life caster, but instead of the Fey Enchantress, we've gone with the Prophetess because she can go up in the air on this Pegasus. She's also quite a bit cheaper than the Fey Enchantress. Of course, she doesn't have the same abilities. She doesn't have the Drain, the Favor of the Fey, and the Chalice of Potions. What she does have, though, is the Scepter of Stability, so it's a 44% magic resistance on a single target. Very, very good for countering things like Fate of Buna on elite tier cavalry, or if I had elected to bring the Green Knight, it could prevent magic damage against him as well. So we've got those. She's also got, of course, Arcane Conduit and the Healing, Earthblood, and Regrowth with the Life Bloom lore attribute, and the Aura of the Lady. The Fey Enchantress also has this. It's a 12% magic resistance in an area of effect, so just even more magic resistance for the Prophetess here. In terms of the rest army composition, we've got two Grail Guardians in the anchor. The front line is going to be all anti-large peasant infantry. We've got a mix of polearms and spearmen with no shields. One peasant mob meat shield up front. We've got three bowmen with pox arrows and two Grail Knights out to the flanks, the anti-large variant. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Beastmen list here. We've got some Chaos Poison Warhounds to the flanks, two units of Ungor Raiders with a front line of Ungor Herd backed up by Minotaurs with shields. We've got two more Ungor Spearmen Herd with shields out to the flanks, and a Minotaur with Grey Weapon. This is a great choice against Bretonnia as long as you can keep them from getting shot up too much. That anti-large armor piercing will do just insane amounts of damage against knight units. So I like that pick quite a bit here. Morgar the Shadowgave is going to be the Lord, and I believe he has a Brave Shaman Lore of Wild with Cygor Summon and Vile Tide. So looking for that Vigor Refresh and the Terror Summon. That's pretty much it. So no Centaurs, very heavy Minotaur Rush, which is, not super common. I have seen it a few times in this patch, but let's see how it does. So right off the bat, we're just going to be kind of hanging back here, maneuvering around a little bit. You can see my opponent's kind of poking and prodding a little bit with these hounds, trying to get me to get out of position with these Grail Knights out on the flank. But I'm going to stay close to the infantry line as much as possible so that we don't get too far out. You can see the peasant arrows all focusing fire on these Ungor Raiders. They're trudging up through the swamp. They're going to be taking a severe amount of damage here, and the poison as well can't help. So yeah, you can see this unit of Ungor Raiders already down more than half their HP, and they are going to be routed off. So we're going to be switching targeting soon to this unit of Minotaurs with Great Weapons, since they don't have a missile block chance like the rest of these Minotaurs do. You can see the Brave Shaman Lore of Wild going to be summoning up a Cygor here, and then he's going to bring the Cygor forward to apply terror in the front line. Peasant mobs doing their job of soaking up the Minotaur charge. Oh man, they're flying in there. And the peasant mobs definitely taking the sour end of that engagement. But we've got the second line of peasants here, and I have taken the Bordeaux color scheme, which I don't know if I'm too crazy about that. I think I like the normal Bretonnian color scheme better, but in the front line you can see Minotaurs and Grail Guardians clashing. We've already got the healing going off, and we also popped that Scepter of Stability, which even though my opponent doesn't have Fate of Buna, just in case of Vile Tide or anything like that. Chaos Spawn being summoned up in the back line, tying down this unit of Pox Arrows. We're going to bring in the Grail Knights to try and silence them. Meanwhile, Hounds are trolling around in the back line. Over on this side, we're trying to turn the corner with these Grail Knights, and now that we've got an open charge, these Minotaurs with Great Weapons have taken some damage from the peasant arrows, and now they're going to take even more from these Grail Knights, just charging them straight in the face. You can see they're down more than half their unit models, down not only 5, and almost all their HP is gone. Prophetess, relatively safe to just sit up in the air, dropping some more Earthbloods in the front line here, as the peasants kind of grind it out with these Ungor Herds and the Minotaurs. The issue that the Beastmen units are going to face here is that Grail Guardians, with their 56 melee defense, are going to be really hard for even like the Minotaurs to make contact with. Minotaurs with shields looks like 36 melee attacks, so even then, they won't make too solid of contact on every hit. We did manage to break the Minotaurs with Great Weapons there. Unfortunately, though, these Grail Knights are caught up by these Hounds and the Ungor Spearmen Herd, and I'm not going to micro them away in time. So that's a little bit of a loss there. Meanwhile, over on this other side, Grail Guardians smashing through Ungor Herd. We've got a few Peasant Spearmen and Polearms freed up that we're going to be pulling around to this side. Meanwhile, the other unit of Grail Knights trying to secure the backline from these Poison Hounds here. My opponent doing a really good job getting into my backline here, feasting on these squishy archers with his hounds, trying to keep them from firing because, of course, they are a huge risk to all these high-value, low-armor Beastmen units. There are still a couple of Minotaurs fighting over on this side with the Ungor Spearman Herd support. We're bringing in the reserve peasants who haven't taken too much damage on this side, and the Grail Guardians are also going to be turning the corner. You can see in the back line more cycle charging from these Grail Knights. Looks like they're actually broken, but going to be popping a regrowth here on these Grail Guardians as they attempt to clean up some of these Ungor Raiders in the back line. Looks like that Cygor is maybe pitching rocks point blank into him, but we do have some Peasant Bowmen rallied, so they're going to be firing on the Cygor, trying to speed his passing there. You can see the Grail Guardians now charging into these Minotaurs, and again, the Minotaurs just don't have the melee attack to make super solid contact. As I pull away here, and if they get attacks that are not subject to the melee defense, they could get some damage done, but you can see the Prophetess still just fine up in the air. She's going to have no issues whatsoever staying alive here because my opponent, he had the 2 Ungor Raiders, didn't bring any Harpies or anything else. So yeah, at this point the Cygor is just about to go down. Bray, Shaman, Laura Wild still fighting here, as is Morgur, but a lot of the Beastmen frontline units are crumbling away. That being said, we are behind a little bit on the balance of power just because of all the summoned units, and my frontline has taken some damage. We've lost 1 unit of Grail Knights, but we still got another unit of Grail Knights and 2 Grail Guardians still fighting, all relatively healthy, so we'll see if we're able to pull things back here a little bit in the late game. You can see Grail Knights scything through the back line. These Minotaurs had refocused to another unit, so we're going to charge in and again try and silence these Ungor Raiders as much as possible. Grail Knights with their higher charge bonus will be able to pretty much one-shot them in a single charge. Meanwhile, collapsing with these other Grail Knights here, a very nice Vile Tide going off for my opponent right in this very blobbed up mass of peasants. Going to be getting some really good damage done. We're immediately going to come in and looks like drop a Earthblood in this pocket just to try and keep all these guys fighting. A lot of them do rout though just from the sheer shock damage, unfortunately. Thankfully the Grail Guardians had got in here and are kind of holding things down for the moment. They're a little bit surrounded, so it's not the best situation for them. But we're trying to bring in some more polearm peasant support over on this side. Cleaning up the Brave Shaman Laura Wild with the Grail Guardians there. Prophetess even coming down to help a little bit with that. And now we're going to be going after the Beastman Leadership Corps a little bit more aggressively, trying to finish off a leadership victory here. You can see all the peasants over on this side got broken up. Grail Guardians still holding out despite everything. They were able to pull back slightly, so now it looks like they're just fighting hounds rather than this crazy Mino-Bus that's going to be pushing forward into this pocket here. Trying to re-secure Morgur with the Minos. You can see some of the Minos looks like they're going to be charging into these Grail Guardians here, but the Grail Knights with their anti-large bonus and massive charge bonus as well, scything in from the flank, going to be intercepting these Minotaurs with shields and doing a ton of damage to them. Just watch the HP plummet there. Minotaurs with Great Weapons still hanging around. They had rallied, but at this point the line of Grail Guardians is holding, and the hammer of the Grail Knights is doing very well also. I figure there's relatively little risk now at this point bringing down the Prophetess just to try and inflict some rear charge penalties and do a little bit of splash damage against some of these guys. Wow, she looks like she got a double decapitation there, so great job to the Prophetess. Cleaning things up in the late game. You can see more Grail Guardians scything through, coming in the back line here and trying to clean up these Minotaurs with shields. More summoned Chaos Spawn had gotten in the back line, but they're going to be degenerating before they can finish off those peasant arrows, thankfully. And yeah, at this point it's just a cleanup phase for Bretonnia, so you can see the Minotaurs trying to get through to get onto the Prophetess, but the Grail Guardians doing their job, protecting their damsel. I guess higher rank than a damsel, but still. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Love the cinematics of this game, especially anytime Bretonnia is involved, so fun times. We're going to be finishing up the battle here relatively shortly. It looks like just about 30 seconds left or so. So we'll just keep soaking up this beautiful cinematic action as these Minotaurs just slug it out in the pits. You can see the Grail Guardians, the peasants get gibbed pretty easy, but the Grail Guardians, they'll get staggered, but because of their melee defense, they won't actually take much damage from this. And the Grail Knights with their anti-large bonus will be able to dish the damage, so it worked out pretty well with the old hammer and anvil with Bretonnia here. You can see Morgur's leadership is now tanking, and with him going, the rest of the Beastman forces are going to shatter to army losses. So very well played to my opponent. Super fun battle. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. It's always a good time taking Bretonnia out against the foul Beastmen, and I do feel that this is one of the matchups that Bretonnia can do pretty well in, just because Grail Guardians are so hard for the Beastmen to take down. You can see even with Minotaurs with great weapons, granted, we did focus fire on these guys really hard with the pox arrows and then caught them out with a clean charge with the Grail Knights, more or less. And you saw just how devastated they got. If you can get into the Knights without... without taking too much damage initially, the Minotaurs will do pretty well. But you don't want to get charged in the face like that by Grail Knights. You can see both units of Grail Knights. 56 on this one. This is the one that actually did the damage there. They did manage to get one chevron, but getting taken out relatively early in the battle is pretty rough. But you can see the others, 196 and 3 XP chevrons for this unit of Grail Knights, 201 and up to a silver 1, 4 ranks for this unit of Grail Guardians, and a single XP chevron with 175 kills for this unit of Grail Guardians. Peasants didn't do much, didn't really need to. Pox arrows did alright. They applied some pressure, but they also kind of got munched on by these hounds. You can see one of the unit of hounds, 108 kills, so very well played by my opponent there. These hounds got in the back line and just feasted on those peasant archers. Some of the Minotaurs got some decent kills, 104 and 89. I mean, these guys were fighting peasants for most of that time, but still, losing the Ungor Raiders, I mean, I say losing them. They were actually able to fire for quite a bit of the battle. They just didn't have that many great targets to shoot at, per se. They were mostly shooting at peasants the whole time. But, yeah, overall, very fun battle. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you do like this kind of content, feel free to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thank you for your support, and we'll see you next time.